Hey guys, it's Damien with the 260Show. Today we're here with Adam Merino, not Dan Marino. He's a big time podcaster. Glad I got to meet him and have him on the show. Talk a lot about podcasts, what goes on in the city here around 260, many more things. Go like it and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Hey guys, it's Damien with the 260Show. I'm here with Adam, big time podcaster.
Big time, guys.
Bigger than me. So I'll just have you introduce yourself a little bit, and then we'll go from there.
Cool. So yes, my name is Adam, and I was born in the Bay Area, so near San Francisco, but moved here in '88. So I tell people that I'm basically from here, but if you're from the Midwest, or if you live in the Midwest, and you're from Texas, Florida, New York, California, one of the quote-unquote cooler states, you like to let people know that. So I'm letting you know, hey, I'm from California. But I've lived here for so long that, I'm basically a Hoosier. I know I don't know how to play euchre, but, I know what it is, and I know all the Indiana things,
Right.
and I follow the Colts, the Hoosiers, whatever. I don't necessarily root for them because I still have my teams and all that, but Indiana trivia, whatever, I'm basically a Hoosier. Just don't tell anyone. Oh, wait, I'm on a podcast telling everyone. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been podcasting since 2016, and I think I was scrolling and came across your show and was like, oh, dude, this is awesome. So I was excited that you asked me to be on.
Yeah, there's a few you guys now in Fort Wayne that have, there's another one, hopefully next week, do one with them.
Yeah, awesome.
And
that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to have you on.
I'd like to be on yours.
And so I have a radio show on Mondays that I definitely would want you on, and we can promote this show. Yeah. And maybe I'm just thinking out loud, putting you on the spot. We give away a hat or a T-shirt or something to someone who listens to the live feed.
Yeah,
that'd be really cool.
Yeah, we're actually one view away on our the video with Michael, Sweet Cars.
Cool.
I said 265, I think, views and another T-shirt giveaway.
Yeah, awesome.
We're one view away from giving another T-shirt. The hats and the sweatshirts too. They're all amazing quality. So.
Yeah, love it. I got mine.
Yeah. So how old are you?
So I'm 43.
Okay.
I will be in another week or so. I'll be 44. So at the end of the month.
Okay. So what? I want to talk first on the adventure on the whole limousine and all that kind of stuff. How
that came to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess I haven't thought about the origin story. It's wild. So I have done a lot of different jobs, from bartending to selling lawn care.
Here, we're not talking about.
Yeah. So what happened was I was wholesaling houses. Have you heard of this?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was showing a property to someone in Fort Wayne in the 07, and he was a realtor who was flipping houses, and I was showing him a property to see if he wanted to buy it to flip. It didn't work out, but I was friends with him on Facebook, and he said on Facebook that he needed help with Brewhound Bus. And I said, what's Brewhound Bus? And he showed me the link or whatever, and it was a small, school bus looking thing that said Brewhound. It had a dog drinking a beer. And he said, well, we take you around to breweries and stuff. And I was like, that sounds fantastic. And I could drive that size of a bus because when I worked for Fort Wayne Community Schools coaching, I would have to drive that bus. So I was comfortable driving it. So I started doing that, and then got connected with Club Car Limousine, which is all the trolleys across from Pierre's that I'm sure people have noticed and they don't think much about. But
Right.
so now I help run, if you need a trolley, a huge party bus, or like, even airport service with just an SUV or something. That's what Club Car Limousine and Trolley. So you can go to clubcarlimo.com and put in your information if you have a birthday or whatever you may need, and I'll be the one that will call you and set everything up. And that just came about because of my connections being established through Brewhound Bus. So I run both of those companies now, and basically love the transportation industry and making sure that people have a good time and can get back home safely. It's just fun because think about this. If you were to rent a party bus, is it to go to a funeral? Or is it to go party hop? Like bar hop, right? Yeah. That's the reason for you renting it. So it's like, it's always fun people.
Yep.
Like I've never really had a group that were just nerds and had their pocket protectors and didn't say much. It's always a fun group of people. So I love being able to provide a service for that, for birthdays. Like surprise birthdays are so fun. Like you show up to someone's house and the bus or party bus comes up. They're like, oh my gosh.
It's sort of like, I don't know, it's probably been at least 5 years ago. 5 years ago I was doing DJing for like weddings and that kind of stuff with one of the two guys that I've had on here that own XPS. Their dad, I would DJ with them to do weddings.
That was fun, right?
Oh, yeah,
people are dancing, like it's set up for fun, and like party buses and things like that is set up for the same thing, and so it's a blast. And Fort Wayne, everyone's connected, so usually I know someone who's on the bus. Oh, hey, So whether I'm driving or just, I go sometimes to meet up where the driver is taking them. So Charlie's Place, Mitchell's, whatever, Arena, Corner Pocket, some of the bars in Fort Wayne. I love meeting up with people. The Pub at 1802, Acme. Those are my favorite places to go to when people are out and about. So I love it.
What's since the beginning of the show or whatever, I'll show them a little bit of some of your stuff so they can,
Sure.
know where you're coming from with all your
different shows and podcasts. Yeah.
Yeah. So we will.
Window Alt R.
There we go. So this is your biggest podcast, right? This is the biggest one that
I will say technically, and we don't have to touch too much on it because we're in Indiana. Technically, my largest podcast is a 49ers podcast.
Oh, okay.
But not too many people in Indiana unless they're Notre Dame fans who like Joe Montana.
My uncle likes 49ers.
So
my
buddy Jonnydel, who's in Alabama, him and I host a 49ers podcast that has over 25,000 subscribers. But the one that can be suitable for everyone is Sports Idiot Nation. And that has to do with 15,000 subscribers. And that's everything.
Everything sports.
Yeah, it's not just 49ers or it's not just, whatever it is. And I do that with two buddies. One, Miles Harrington, went to Bishop Dwenger High School. He went to school with Tyler Eifert, the ex-tight end for the Jaguars and the Cincinnati Bengals. As he will say, the best number 85 in Bengals history, because that's Chad Johnson or Chad Ochocinco. Tyler Eifert had the same number, so Miles likes to point out that 85 was better with Eifert because that's his buddy from high school. So this show, Sports Idiot Nation, is sports, comedy, pop culture, and everything in between by idiots for idiots. Welcome, sinners. So sin, Sports Idiot Nation. S-I-N, sin. So we call our followers sinners. So that's kind of the idea. And we have a new episode every Monday and Thursday. So we come to you twice a week.
And that's not easy to do.
You know.
Right,
Because it's hard enough to do one, isn't it?
Yeah, one.
So we do two
one
a week.
One a month for me is good right now.
I
mean, I'd love to. I would love to have. Maybe this year. I'll get a little more motivated.
I feel you for sure. But yeah, we do come to you twice a week, and we started August 1st. So we're, whatever that is, over 50 episodes in by now. So since August of 24, and here we are in late January, basically, to have over 50 episodes, pretty solid. For one of the guys that never did it. Miles did a podcast with me back in the day when we first started doing podcasts in 2016. But my buddy John, who is our third guy, he had never done it before. So it's fun to do it with him. He learned a lot, and he's a pro now.
So let's click on this here.
And by that, I mean JJ Redick and Charles Barkley need to just have dinner and have it posted live on Netflix and just have them hash it out. Like, I love that.
You get more views than Christmas Day.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen the beef, basically Charles Barkley is saying that the NBA is unwatchable. And then basically JJ Redick says, we can't have our ambassadors like Charles Barkley saying that it's unwatchable. Like, that's not good for the game. It doesn't serve a purpose. I don't find it funny. He was very, didn't pull any punches. And then Charles Barkley fired back basically and said, this guy's a dead man walking. Who is he? The Lakers stink. He stinks. Like, what are we talking about? I'm just calling the dead horse a dead horse. I'm not. It's obvious. I'm not the one jacking up all those threes. This is Charles Barkley saying it. So then it gets back. And by that, I mean JJ.
So yeah, we'll pull up funny stories, and just, in the sports world, in pop culture, whatever. A few weeks ago, Nikki Glaser crushed, I thought, the opening of the Golden Globes. She did amazing. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about whatever's polarizing, in the pop culture world.
Who's this, Kelsey or whatever?
The big thing with Sports Edit Nation is we like to have guests
and
on.
I feel like when you have Lamar and Joe Burrow in the same division, how do you beat that? Like, how do you beat that? Those two are both, in my opinion,
seems like
MVP
she really knows what she's talking about,
I think
too.
Joe Burrow is an MVP contender. I know
Die-hard
the team is not
Cincinnati
winning, but
Bengals fan.
statistically, he's the best quarterback in the NFL right
She
now.
was amazing.
Also,
Great,
if we look at the
fun
uniforms,
guest.
I think that the NFC
From Fort Wayne,
North
but lives in San
uniforms
Diego
are just
now.
not as good as the AFC North uniforms. They're just not. I think that
She's talking about the uniforms.
AFC North is a more entertaining division, and I think that even though they're both good divisions, the likelihood that an AFC North team actually wins the Super Bowl is higher. I think that NFC North is good. They're consistent. They win games. They're going to make the playoffs. They have all that going for them. But will they win the Super Bowl? I don't think so. And I feel like when you have Lamar
she's very
and
well spoken.
Joe Burrow,
it was fun to have her on, and this is what we like to do. So Kelsey likes the Cincinnati Bengals. They are in the AFC North. The reason we had her on is the storyline was in the AFC North, Pittsburgh had lost so many games in a row, and Cincinnati had won so many games in a row. And it was what everyone was talking about, the AFC North. So we wanted to have her on because she knows all things AFC North.
Right.
So if the New York Giants did something just off the charts amazing, then we would have my friend Adriana. We've had her on before because she's a New York Giants fan and she can talk all things NFC East. So the Commanders, the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Giants.
And she knows what's going on there.
And so we can pick her brain on things. So it's almost like you check in with your people. And that's the idea with Sports Idiot Nation is I cover the NFC West because 49ers. They cover the AFC South because they're Tennessee Titan fans.
Right.
So my co-hosts, so they have that covered. AFC North, we have Kelsey. NFC East, we have Adriana. NFC South, we have Wayne. So that's the idea, is to like, when certain stories pop up, then we can go call that person and be like, hey, can you be on the show this week? Because XYZ happened and we want to talk about it. Well, that makes it pretty fun, you know, especially when you're making those reels and all that and throwing that to social media. That's what the idea is, to have aces in places to talk about the story that's come up. So that makes it super fun.
Right. What about any of the other podcasts?
Yeah.
What are the other ones?
So the other one that I'm most excited about, because it just started this very month, so we've only done a couple episodes that you guys can check out, is called How It's Related. And my cousin Mike, he's my first cousin. He is a year younger than me, so all of our memories kind of mesh together,
Right.
because, you know, I'm only a year older. And he was in a band called Unjust. You can look them up on Spotify. They only have a few thousand listeners per month. They're not like a million listeners or anything, but they were big to local Bay Area in California back in the day. And he was the guitarist, and they toured all over. They were pretty big back then in late 90s, early 2000s. And he was California famous, like, you know. And so he knows music. Our whole family does. My dad and his dad grew up together playing guitars, and we're very musical. And so we think of music a little bit differently. Like, there are some people who put their music on the car and just kind of jive to it, like whatever. And there's people who say, if I don't have music, I would die. Okay, me and my cousin Mike are people that would die if we didn't have music. So if you are a person who can relate to this statement, if I can't have music, I will die, then check out this podcast.
Right.
Because it's for people who can relate to our stories that we get into with music. Whatever topic it is, you will find some that you can relate to. And obviously, Mike and I are related. So, How It's Related is the play on words there. It's a project that I just wanted to do for fun. Not only to show my clients, because I also work as a podcast coach. So, this was something that I could do and then show people, like, well, here's one way to do it. And then show them how it's related. So, I said, hey, Mike, let's do a podcast about music, but you're a guinea pig so that I can show my clients. And he was like, okay.
Now
pretty
he
easy
lives
going.
here now?
So yes, he's from California as well, but he's lived in Indiana. He's not a Hoosier yet, guys. He's only been here for about 5 years. That does not qualify one. I did the math.
Yeah.
It's 12 years. I did the math. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
You have to be here for 12 years. I did the math. So he's got some time to go before he's a Hoosier. He still asks
12
questions.
Years and,
It doesn't have to be consecutively either.
Oh, okay.
Just saying, you can do 5 years, go, to Afghanistan, then come back for year 7. But you do have to add up to 12. So he's got some time. And here's how I know. Yeah, here's how I know. Because he still asks questions like, what's a Hoosier? He still asks questions like, hey, where's this? Once you're here 12 years, you just know, oh, that used to be... You ever notice you drive around Fort Wayne and you're like, oh, a new place opened up, and you're like, yeah, that used to be Kelch Pharmacy. Right. And Mike's like, what's Kelch Pharmacy?
or everything like out this way, well, DuPont area used to be just farm fields.
Well, right.
Anymore.
If you think about it, you may not have thought about this before, but for you listening right now, I want you to think about this. Think of a place that you go to more than twice a week, and then say to yourself, did it used to be something else? And I bet you it has. From the YMCA to a restaurant, it used to be something else. Now, to my cousin, he's like, what is happening? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't get it. So it's kind of funny, like, only Hoosiers get it, like, Oh, just go here. Well, where's that? You know, it used to be where the Walgreens was on the corner. Oh, yeah, I know where to go now. But, like, my cousin doesn't get that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny.
Have to learn his main roads first, I guess.
Exactly. Well, then they change.
Right.
Like, okay, so St. Joe Center, then, okay,
somewhat.
Hobson becomes this. Wait, what?
Yeah.
That also, he's still like, what now? And I'm like, just put it in your GPS. And he's like, I don't want to use my GPS. I've lived here long enough.
Yeah.
I'm like, sorry.
That or during the summer, you got enough construction. It doesn't matter which way you go. So.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's a fun podcast to do with someone that's like a brother.
I'll definitely link all your stuff at the bottom.
Yeah, in the description.
Yeah. And then what got you into podcasting?
Yeah.
What so you've been doing it for so long. I mean, that was like sort of at the beginning when podcasting just got started.
Yeah, it's a funny story. So me and my 3 buddies, my cousin's brother-in-law Paul, my friend Miles from Sports Idiot Nation, and another buddy Juan. It was the 4 of us were at B-Dubs. It was 2015 or 2016 when Villanova won the championship in basketball. They won March Madness. Ben Affleck was just announced as he was going to be portraying Batman. It was that time frame. So if you can rewind yourself back to that time. So this is the things that are happening, and we're at B-Dubs, and we're at the tall top table, right? Just the 4 of us. It's on the one on DuPont. So we're sitting up there, and we're having our wings, and we're watching all the games. We're talking about, at that point, I thought Ben Affleck was going to ruin Batman. And I will admit, I thought he did okay. But at that time, it was like, oh no, like, what? Like, so we were talking about that. We were making fun of it. We were cracking jokes about what team we thought would do well and then did terrible in the NCAA tournament. We're just talking, laughing. It's 4 guys at a bar. You can guess what we're talking about, right? Well, we start to like look around, and people are fixated on us laughing, and not laughing at us like they're stupid. They have sauce all over their face. It's they're making us laugh, and we're like, we all looked at each other, and it clicked. Like, let's go find a microphone, set it like in the middle of the room.
Right.
We'll sit around it evenly, and let's just repeat what we just said. Let's find some topics that we were talking about, and let's record it. Do you ever hang out with a group of friends and afterwards you have a headache from laughing? You're like, oh, guys, that's what it was after we listened to our own recording. It was so good. We even knew it was going to be said. It was us. And it was still so good that we're like, oh, this is awesome. We're doing a podcast. So I think that's a really funny story. You know what I mean? And it just went from there.
There's a million stories and times wish would have had just like a video camera going. I mean, back
fly on the wall, right? Yeah. Just like, so speaking of fly on the wall, that's how we shot it for YouTube. Is we set up a camera on a stand and then put it way high, like in the corner of the room, and it was just tracking everything. And then my other cousin, who's married to Paul, Mike's sister, she was dating him at the time. She had a handheld and would follow whoever's talking. So we'd have regular camera and then like a B-roll camera so that I could trigger from back and forth to cut or to whatever. And that is, when you look at how it's related, that show, where that shot is at the downtown library in Fort Wayne, that's where we shot our original podcast in 2016. And we were live on the radio as well. And then we recorded it for YouTube and threw it on YouTube. And we had probably over 10,000 views as a whole. Because we didn't do it that long because we had a falling out with a friend. This guy married my cousin.
And it's hard.
Miles moved. Yeah. I was left by myself. But that's when I started coaching people because I knew how to do so many things that people would come to me and be like, hey, we know you did that podcast before. I'm looking to start one. How do you do XYZ? And I'd be like, oh, yeah, you just do this and this. They're like, oh, my gosh, I never would have been able to figure that out.
Like with the mics or something?
Or how to put it on Spotify, or how to put it on, how to create a YouTube page, or certain things like how to make a good intro, or how to go about getting a brand deal, or just different things like that after a while, it's not because I'm so smart. It's just I've done it for so long. It's just, you know what I mean? So I love teaching people how to do a podcast because I think podcasts are so amazing. So if someone else is passionate about wanting to start a podcast, then
get a hold of you.
Yeah, I feel like I'm your guy because I want you to win. I want you to succeed. And I have, I think, ideas on how you can be successful. And you're already doing a billion of those things, I gotta say. Like, this is awesome. I love, like, the setup. I love your editing process. I love just the setup is not typical for someone just starting out, I will say. Like, this is incredible, man. I love it. Keep going.
Thank you.
Yeah. This is awesome.
A few on-site ones have got the most views, like, going not at our home,
But this is still overall new, really.
Oh, yeah.
In the grand scheme
it's real. It's real new.
Yeah, so no, man, this is awesome. Definitely keep going. This is our first couple shows at Paul's apartment. His daughter, who's now almost in high school, but back then she was a lot younger, there was girly stickers on the wall, and they were in the background. You could see them. And we're at a kitchen table, and the mics were not very good. We didn't know exactly what we were doing. The content is good. It was funny. I think we did well, but it was nothing like this. Like, nothing. Not even close. So that's why I'm like, oh, dude, this is awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, and all the gear and stuff. And I definitely want to do a giveaway with you for sure.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
We'll be able to hook some of your people up with some of my stuff. And,
love it.
Hopefully get them to watch some of my stuff and see if they like it.
That's how you do it, Here's the thing that I want to remind people. I love telling the story. All right. You know the beef between David Letterman and Jay Leno? You know that they kind of just did not. So the reason is deep down is because they were at the same time slot. And back then, you didn't DVR. So you were either Team Leno or Team Letterman. And you were like, Okay. Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon, do you know that a couple years ago for April Fool's Day, they switched shows and didn't tell anyone? Just all of a sudden showed up on set?
I don't know that.
Okay, they did that, and they didn't tell anyone, and the networks didn't mind. They're not beefing at all. Now think about why that is. Because you can Hulu next day and watch both of them. You can be a fan of both Jimmys. It doesn't matter. And they know that. So they're friends. They're buddies. They don't have a beef. You can support both because you can watch both. In the days of Leno and Letterman, you couldn't. So what I am here to say is that you can watch my show and you can watch your show.
Yeah.
It's a podcast.
I'm rooting for everybody anyways.
Yeah, me too. Like, I love being on podcasts because it's that exact thing that we're saying. Like, I want to bring my audience over to you and vice versa. And it's not, well, I like Adam's show. No, you download this. You can watch it with no service on an airplane if you download it.
Spotify and
all that.
And all that.
You can, the show may be released, how it's related is released on a Wednesday. Does that mean that I really think that everyone's going to watch it then?
Right. No.
Of course not. So that's my thing with podcasts.
Unless if you have notifications, and all that kind of stuff.
Right. So that's why I think podcast is the way to go.
Yeah.
For
definitely. Sure. But
we're back.
Yeah, we're back. Back in black. But I'm glad that you think that I'm doing good or whatever, because I think I reached out to Jennifer. I want to say she told me about you. I'd have to show you.
Oh, Jen Cecil?
Yep.
Yep. That's funny. She just commented on one of my things. Yeah.
Yeah, I asked her because I know she knows a lot of people.
She does. Yeah.
I was like,
She helps a lot of people.
Yeah, I was like, I'm starting a podcast. You know anybody? And then she named you.
Okay. Yeah.
So
you know how long I've been trying to get her to do a podcast, and I think she's gonna pull the trigger. So I'm trying to help her.
Yeah, she said she'd come on here or whatever. So
and that's a really good start. I think she should. So there you go, Jen. That's your.
Yeah, she's got quite a big following.
Mm-hmm. And she just, with social media and the algorithm and
she's
like
good
stuff
at it.
like that, yeah, it's helpful tips, and so I think
not just for podcasts, but for businesses.
for anything.
I mean, if you're trying to get your name out there, I mean,
right. That's why Jen's so great. Yeah, she's awesome. She actually helped with Brewhound when I first started running it. As far as social media, I incorporated a lot of her ideas, and I still think about them today, how she teaches different things and stuff for posting and whatnot. So she'd be great as a guest on the show, and I think she'd be great
to get her
own podcast rolling too. Yeah. So.
I've got a few, like Dave Dio or whatever. I've had him on, the dentist. He's talked about starting one and that kind of stuff. And
yeah, I hear his commercials on the radio.
Yeah. He's wanting to start one in his office area there or whatever, and talk teeth or something. I don't.
Yeah, there's podcasts for everything.
Yeah.
And the more niche you are, in my opinion, the better it is. Because even though it's not for you, maybe
right,
it is for someone.
Yes.
Though. So like it's big. Yeah. That's why I said like
and you can put it out there and everybody can get a hold of it.
Yep, it's on the internet. And somewhere in Australia someone can pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, that's why I didn't really talk too much about my 49ers podcast, because this is the 260 show and not many people care about the 49ers, and I get that, but you can understand how I have 25,000 subscribers, because there are people that care, just usually
definitely
not in 260 as much.
Yes,
but you know what I mean. So like that's why if you can be niche, find your niche thing. Like I don't think this show would necessarily be that popular in Zimbabwe, and I think you're okay with that.
Yeah.
But your niche. Right. This show should be very popular in the Fort Wayne area.
Right. It's not just because I guess I live here or whatever, but this area to me is just, I don't know, it's just home, I guess.
Right,
so it's like, I just love it here. And the more you find out about around here is more, it's like, okay, there's a lot of stuff around here that,
For sure. Yeah, I love it too. Just don't tell too many people because I'm from California. Shh. Like I'm not on a podcast just announcing it. But yeah.
What's going on with the limos and all that? You're gonna try to eventually buy it, or
yeah, that's kind of the plan right now. We're helping manage,
right,
and just still, and I'm always learning, right. Still learning the business and really wanting to do the best job I can of helping as many people as possible with quinceañera, prom, weddings. Like trolley season is coming. Like right now I get it's cold, but that's when you book it because you want your date to be available. So we're taking so many calls and emails for wedding season, which is April, May, June, July, August. I mean, it'll be here before you know it. And those people are planning for all their other things too. You got to have your flowers, you got to have your tuxedos and stuff. And so we're busy right now trying to get all that stuff situated.
One of my goals this summer is to have a podcast on one of the party boats. I've had the sort of connections to Joey, the one that owns it.
That's cool.
He doesn't really want to be on the podcast, but I would like to be able to have somebody, a guest on there I thought it'd be sweet being able to go by Promenade and all that kind of stuff and show people off, downtown,
Yeah. That would be sick.
I think it'd be sweet.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That's one of my ideas.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it, man. Think outside the box. The more you can do that, I think the better your show will be.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah. We'll see. Might get there. What about so I talked to you a little bit about the sports and all that. I'm not too good on the football and all that, but I mean when it comes racing with the motors and that kind of stuff, I mean so you already have somebody, or I'd be able to fill in once in a while, or
so here's what I think you may be interested in. Remember when I was talking about Sports Idiot Nation and I highlighted that if something happened with the Steelers, because they're in the AFC North, I would get Kelsey on to be a guest, right? Mm-hmm. Well, in that same token of thinking, what we did was, instead of just Sports Idiot Nation, we also now have, and you can look this up on Facebook, Racing Idiot Nation. We have Wrestling Idiot Nation.
Okay.
We have Turtles Idiot Nation for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is more of a nostalgia type page. Okay. It doesn't have to just be Turtles, but it's something that we talk about a lot on Sports Idiot Nation. We find a way to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's insane a little bit. So we're like, let's just make Turtles Idiot Nation. And boom, it got 500 followers like really quickly. Really? Which is just kind of funny. But Racing Idiot Nation is all thing racing. And now it's I don't run the page at Racing Idiot Nation, but what I would say is, and this is, I know we're on a podcast, but I will tell you personally that you should reach out to Devin, and you can check out Devin on Sports Idiot Nation's podcast. We have him on, and the title of the episode is Racing Idiot Nation. So if you go to YouTube under Sports Idiot Nation and then look up Racing Idiot Nation, find that title, because it's like episode 24 or whatever it is, right? You can watch that episode, and I think you would enjoy that because we talked to Devin, who is all things racing. He races himself, and he's in Tennessee, but he's the guy who runs the page, and he'll post. He had a post go viral in its first 2 weeks on Facebook, and people thought that it was a reshare. It was a live video from someone that was either with him or him himself. And when he shared it, it got like over, I don't know if it was 400,000 views, whatever it was. It was viral. And we're like, okay, Devin, you got something going here. Like, all right, buddy. So I don't run that page at all. I don't know enough. I'm not going to pretend that I know about racing.
Well, but maybe when it comes time.
Yeah, I think there could be some synergy there where, you guys can maybe work together on a couple projects or something, because racing enthusiasts come together like peanut butter and jelly is what I have found. I'm not in that world, but I have noticed that like, racing? Racing? Oh, you guys like come together. You find each other. So maybe I've helped you. But his name's Devin, and I'll have
to look that up.
I'll definitely link you guys, because that could be something fun. I'm not calling you an idiot, but Racing Idiot Nation could be up your alley. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, I just need to figure out how to, you guys do live feed or whatever, right? So
what we use is called Riverside FM, and I recommend that for people who are podcasting where they're not in front of each other.
Right.
It's like everyone's familiar in 2025 at least with Zoom. Mm-hmm. You have to download it though. You have to do all that. This is like Zoom on steroids without downloading anything. So that's what Riverside is. So you're talking to the person. You would have your microphone. This would just be linked to your computer. Mm-hmm. And then get a webcam. Nowadays, a $20 webcam is still 4K. Mm-hmm. And so you can go to Best Buy and pick one up. And then attach that to your computer. Riverside links both the audio and the video together and makes it like a Zoom. You hit record, boom, and you know what I mean? So
and it's recording the whole time.
Absolutely. And so when we checked out earlier in this show, we checked out a little bit of Sports Idiot Nation.
Right.
We were all in 3 separate areas. Mm-hmm. John and Miles are in the same city basically, but they're not in the same house. Mm-hmm. They're each have a studio at their house.
Right.
And I'm in Indiana, but all 3 of us looked like we were close, So
yeah,
and
so
it looked
if
pretty
people
good still.
So if people want to do a podcast with their friend or whatever, they'd be able to use that. And
Riverside FM it's like less than $30 a month. I mean, Zoom is free if you're only doing like 30 minutes or something like that, but even Zoom has a fee, and this is way better than Zoom. It even will what Riverside does is after the show, if your Wi-Fi was a little sticky, so you sounded it did
right.
that, right? Because of the connection, it cleans it up. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Zoom does not do that. What you get is what you get. Mm-hmm. But with Riverside, it cleans it up because it records locally. Mm-hmm. And then in post-edit, it cleans it up, and that's what you get.
That's pretty cool.
So that's why I recommend it. I recommend it to all my clients for sure. It's really cool.
Nice.
Makes the reels, too. So the reels that you were watching,
right.
I made those in Riverside. I didn't use an editing software. It finds it for you through AI. It's incredible. The words that come across the screen, all the captions.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do some stuff like that.
Riverside does that.
Huh. Or like I would be able to put my video after it's edited. I would be able to put.
You can load video to it. You don't have to use it for shooting video. You can even load video. The AI would pick it up. It would write your descriptions for you, your show notes. It does everything. It cooks me a steak. Well, maybe it doesn't do that, but but it does. I'm telling you, it's pretty amazing.
So it sounds like me and Adam have we've got a party bus this summer, and we're gonna have some friends, and we're gonna have to.
Yeah. Yep.
We'll have to.
Depending on the size, I'll drive it so that we can still hang out. I don't have my CDL, so anything.
I do.
You do?
Well, I'll be drinking.
So if you know the CDL rules, anything over 15 passengers, then is CDL. So we have.
Or air brakes.
Is that what it is?
Well, air brakes, yeah.
Oh, see, I don't even
trailer and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
So, if you have 12 or 13 people, then it's a vehicle that I myself could drive. But if it's like 17
you have a chauffeur's.
24,
do they still have a chauffeur's license?
So it's a for hire endorsement. Oh. That's what it's called. On my ID, you flip it over and it says for hire, and it was like a 13-minute test that I failed twice. The PMV.
Sorry, I failed my CDL probably.
I never read the material.
I don't know how many times.
I was just going like, okay, multiple choice, and then I didn't see where they didn't show me where my wrong answers were. So when I failed, I didn't know.
Well, yeah.
So I had to do it. And finally, like, okay. I mean, overall, it was easy to do, but yeah, it's a for-hire endorsement on my ID and on my license, and that gives me so I can drive 15 or less. So if you got 15 or less friends, I got you.
I think we could do 15 or less.
All right, then I got you.
It'd be the best 15.
Yeah. So I'm down.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. I think we've got somebody else in the group. Who else owns a limo or some kind of... I'd have to look that one up.
Well, I'm the coolest, obviously. So
yeah.
And also, I will say, when you book with me, if it's ahead of time, 5 days notice or less is harder. But if you give me some notice, I can set up free stuff and guaranteed seating at a lot of places. Like some of the places I mentioned, like Acme, Pub at 1802. We get free appetizers.
The pub is awesome.
Yeah. So they don't necessarily take reservations at the Pub at 1802.
Right, but when it's full, when it's full, I mean, it's always full.
That place is jumping.
Yeah.
I live down the street from there.
Okay.
And I love it. Shout out to Eric and Arnell, the managers over there. They're fantastic.
The food, every
so good. The wings, the nachos,
everything.
Like, we should reach out and have them be a sponsor, or maybe you can get a plate of nachos a week for free. That'd be worth it.
Yeah.
I seriously, I love the staff. Crystal, one of the bartenders, she's great. It's so cool. The TV situation's great.
Yep.
If you want to watch something, just a great spot.
Yeah, that one wall that's got,
the entire wall is a big TV.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine if this whole wall was a TV. Right. Oh, okay, I'm watching the game. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Man, I don't know, just being downtown is just cool.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna look into that. We're gonna get a sponsor.
Yeah, could go for that. Would be pretty cool if could get be able to do a podcast like up on the roof, the rooftop bar, looking the tin caps.
Yeah. There's a couple rooftops because Birdies too. The problem with Birdies is the view isn't as cool because you're like, all right, Coney Island, cool. Like, it's not, whereas if you could see the Tin Cap Stadium,
yes,
that's the cooler, Birdies is like bigger, but,
that'd be pretty sweet to be able to do a podcast up there or something.
Or, speaking of Tin Caps, a Tin Cap Stadium would be cool to do a podcast.
Yeah.
Like during Thursday, and like interview people going by.
Yes, I wanted to.
Let's co-host one.
So our driving club, we bring all the cars down on the Saturday night of the auction up in Auburn, and I wanted to do like an on-site, podcast or whatever. I thought it'd be cool. I'm almost thinking about reaching out and doing one during. It's coming up in March. The car show in the Coliseum. It just came back this last year and was like a big hit. And then this year they're making it even bigger.
How do you make it
3
bigger?
days. 3 days. Yeah.
Was it how long? Was it just one day before?
No, it was 2. I think. Yeah, 2.
Okay.
And I think it's gonna be 3 this year. I want to say Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
That's crazy.
So I thought it'd be cool to have, the tent or whatever, and I don't know, if I can get my camera guy to have them days off.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. That's huge. Yeah, all that stuff, to do stuff like on different locations, like Johnny Appleseed, like have a candy apple and interview people, or like whatever thing is going on.
Definitely gives the people more. I mean, you go over to Ohio, you're not going to have Johnny Appleseed, festival. People have never seen it or something like that. It's like, this is legit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because where I live is not far from Johnny Appleseed. Like, I could walk if I really, really needed to.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always just packed.
Mm-hmm.
And just the smell. You can always smell when it's Johnny Appleseed. Because the cider and everything. Like, just every month you could probably find something
right,
like going on in Fort Wayne.
That would be, yeah.
To like go do like,
yeah, we might have to do something.
So yeah, what would be cool is like, what if you had in a month you had one interview, and then in that same month, then you went to like some place and did a thing. So you had two things a month. Mm-hmm. One could be just a regular interview with whoever the person is next month, hopefully Jen or whatever, right? And then you would do, if an event is going on for, say, St. Patrick's Day in a couple months, right? Something like that. And now you're going to O'Sullivan's. Mm-hmm. O'Sullivan's downtown.
I don't know, that might get a little too crazy, though.
Yeah, but it'll get you views.
Yeah.
But you get my point.
Right, I know what
like,
you're saying.
whatever it is, whatever the thing is, or what if a very popular band is coming to the Coliseum or something. Like, I remember right before COVID, Paul McCartney from the Beatles came to the Coliseum, which is crazy. I went with my folks.
Or,
that was awesome. Elton John's been to the Coliseum.
Or,
Journey.
Yeah. Everybody. But
So, like,
Ric Flair, he'll come in town, get kicked out.
Get kicked out?
Yeah.
I remember when that happened.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome to have him on.
Yeah, like, Matt Rife was in Fort Wayne, like, at the peak of his being famous, wasn't he? Like, it was within a year ago.
Oh, he was?
It was within 12 months, yeah.
What, at the comedy club?
Yeah. So, like, famous people come there.
I haven't been, I've never been there, but I want to.
I haven't been since they rebranded and got new management that
right across from
famous people. Yeah. But, so I haven't been, I've just been so busy on weekends, I guess. But I would love to see a show of, like, with someone, like, famous coming in. But I went when it was, like, what was it, Snickers, right? I would always find a way to get free tickets through someone I knew. I don't think I ever paid for a ticket. I went maybe 5 times when it was Snickers. And it was good. But they never had anyone, no disrespect, but they just never had anyone that famous.
Big name, yeah.
And then the new company comes in and they're not local. Mm-hmm. So I get it. That's why they're able to get, all these famous people, because it's on the circuit,
Which is good.
You pay the price, though, because it's not local. And you love to see someone local being able to pull it off, but I never knew of anyone local that
They
could
probably
pull
still
it
have
off.
local people
and open
every few nights.
Yeah. And they have, like, open mic night, I think, on Wednesdays, I believe. And yeah, the comedy scene is definitely a cool. It's just, again, it's fun. Like,
I'll have to do that.
So yeah, comedy shows are always fun. Fort Wayne truly is a place where there's something for everyone. There's art stuff going on. There's Comets in the winter. Comets hockey is insane. Like, to go to a Comets game, there's festivals, events, St. Patrick's Day stuff coming up in a couple months. Like, then it's time for Tin Caps shortly after that. Then different festivals, German Fest, this fest, that fest, Rib Fest.
Are they
Crazy.
Are we not having Three Rivers this year?
Man, so there's rumors.
What's going on there?
Well, what I heard was there was a lot of money poured into it.
Right.
And they didn't report people when you give money to the Three Rivers Festival and then later you check on, hey, where'd my money go? Or what are we investing in? Or did we hire a good band? What did we do? And they say, well, we can't tell you. That's a little fishy. And I think that's kind of what happened. And people pulled their money then. Like, well, screw that. I'm not dealing with that. And then they didn't have any funds. And then it suffered because we went from having, like, Casey and the Sunshine Band or, like, big bands to like just someone local who lived down the street. Now, no disrespect to the guy down the street, but he's not Casey and the Sunshine Band, or you know what I mean. So it was like,
or like big heavy. I mean,
so it's just like, okay, so no good bands, or like big popular bands, and then just different things that they weren't doing anymore.
They cannot just say like, okay, we're not gonna do it. I mean, what? Seriously,
I know, that doesn't make sense. What are they supposed to do the third week in July? That's always the Rouge Festival. You know, the chalk. You know, I mean, that's always cool to see.
I don't even think I went down last year, but I'm just saying.
I did either because I just heard so many terrible things. I did see the chalk sidewalk because I know about usually 4 to 5 artists who are doing the chalk walk. So I like to see what they do, and it's remarkable what they can do with a piece of chalk. I couldn't do that, but so yeah, I don't know what's going on. But you take that away, there's still so much to do in the city between concerts and comedy and great places to eat and stuff. I mean, you can't go wrong with Fort Wayne.
Nope.
That's me. I'm a little biased. I'm technically a Hoosier now.
You are.
It's been 11 years or 12 years.
Yeah, I'll let it slide.
Yeah. Just don't tell too many people. I mean, like and share this podcast and subscribe wherever you get your podcast. And the most fun way to watch is probably on YouTube. That's what I say on my shows. So usually, I'm doing it for you.
Yeah, usually, yeah.
But other than that, don't tell too many people.
I think the beginning, my Spotify and all that was up there, but it's not as like high up as I don't know.
Well, what do you think you promote the most? Like YouTube, or
now I would say YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah, I think YouTube is just such a mega powerhouse because it's the number 2 search engine in the world, and the number 1 search engine is its father. Like Google, Gmail, all that, they own YouTube. So Google's the number 1 search, and number 2 is owned by Google. It's YouTube.
And they're coming to town.
And they're what?
Google's
coming to town?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Well, I mean they're already sort of here, but yeah.
Wow.
Out New Haven-ish area.
Where the casino's going to go?
No, not where the casino's gonna go, but that will go up.
Yeah,
I know it's going to. So
yeah, it's too much money for. There's too many people excited.
I like it. I mean, a lot of people are saying like hobos and this and that, or bad things happen, or I mean, it's New Haven.
Yeah, here's the deal. Okay, you ready? I found out the number 1 cause of death. Did you? All right. I got it.
What?
You know the number 1 cause of death?
No.
The number 1. Life.
Fun?
Life.
Oh, life.
It's the number 1 cause. It's the number 1 cause of death is life. Everyone's going to die. There's always going to be something bad that happens. What are we doing? You can't just complain about everything.
Right.
Oh, we can't have this. Oh, we can't. Just stay home then. Like, what? Come on. Like.
Yeah, I don't know what I mean, I think they want like 50 acres. I think
I'd give
something
them
like
51.
that. Something around there.
I'd give them 51. Who cares?
And
it's going to be so much
like
money
that.
coming in. If your reasoning against it is because people
Farmland,
will gamble too much or people will do this, people that gamble too much, they're gambling too much even right now, before that place is constructed.
Very.
Has nothing to do with,
I've been in a casino twice.
You've been twice in your
twice,
life?
Yes.
How'd you do? One time good, one time bad?
No.
Both times bad?
Yes. But I didn't.
So you're due.
I'd come in and I'd be like, okay, and I lost $200 in like 10 minutes. Okay, bye.
And you're like done. What was your game of choice?
Oh, just slots.
Oh, okay.
Just throw it all out.
So
there.
not like blackjack or roulette or card games or anything like that. Just
go for it. Yeah.
So now you're due. You gotta.
Well, definitely if there's one in New Haven.
Right.
I wouldn't mind trying 4 Winds. I go up there for work a lot over that way, but
I haven't been there.
It usually looks packed all the time. So
Yeah, I've been to the one in Battle Creek.
Firekeepers. I've been to
and
that
then
one.
the one on the way to Indy.
Hoosier Park.
Yeah, yeah. Because they used to only have machines. They didn't have humans because Indiana couldn't have technically.
Mm-hmm.
But in the last, 2 years or so, they've changed it so now that has real dealers. Because who wants to play blackjack against a computer? You just feel like it's rigged.
Right.
Like, there's no way to feel good
I've seen
about
some
it.
dudes. I follow a dude on TikTok. He's all tatted up. I can't think of his name, but he'll like come into a casino with like I think like $5 million in cash or something. Make another 5 or something real quick. He's out. He gets on the jet or whatever. It's crazy how like
Sign me up. Like, I'm in for that.
yeah.
That's wild. But see, does he document his losses? See, if he's only posting the times that he wins,
Oh,
like,
obviously
there's no
you're
way
gonna-
he wins
obviously
every
you're gonna-
time.
No, but
So, like, that's where I'm like, well, he might be down 20 million. But he's won 40 before. Yeah, but he's lost 60. You know what I like?
yeah.
I don't know.
I
But
don't
when
know.
you have that kind of cash, I guess. Crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
So what else you got coming up on your stuff?
So, man, between 2 shows a week for Sports Idiot Nation, I do also go 2 shows a week for the 49er podcast. That's more live on YouTube, so it's easy in and out. And then an episode with my cousin that we do in person, a lot like this. But I can batch those, so I'll give away the secret, basically, for how it's related. We'll do 2 shows at once. And we'll just change our shirt, take a quick break, go to the bathroom, come right back, and do 2 episodes in an hour. And it's like, cool, done deal, and then I'll edit it, whatever, and we're good to go. Where it's a weekly show, but we just shot half the month's worth of content in 40 minutes. Like, okay, cool. So that's something that I kind of cheat the system. And obviously, because we're talking music and nostalgia kind of things usually, it doesn't mean we have to be up on current events. So you
Right.
can do that. Obviously, if you're talking about something that happened yesterday, you can't do a show, just change your shirt and do another. Like, it doesn't work that way because you just missed all that time. So you can't do that with any kind of show. But usually with a show like this one, a show like the one I do with my cousin, you can batch. And I always tell people to batch as many as they can.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
it's not that easy to just
pump them out like
No,
that. It's
yeah.
it's not. So between all that, what else do I have going on? Well, what else could I? Like, I'm pretty busy. Like, even just coming here, I thought I'd be running actually so much later. The drive over here actually was easier than I thought. I was planning on more time to get out of here, so it worked out. But I was like, right up until the minute I left, I was working on a quote for a trolley for June, because that is it's big right now. Everyone wants to make sure they have their date for
Right.
May, June, July. Those are crazy months, for a trolley. And
bachelor parties and that kind of stuff.
oh yeah, all that stuff. It's just that's exactly what everyone's doing. So it's just busy, but I love it. I mean, I love hanging out on weekends at like the pub or Mitchell's, all that stuff. Like, just hanging out. I love hanging with people and catching friends at this spot, that spot.
So you do like a podcast on, or I guess a video series on like how to. Do you have like a
So,
how to
yeah.
start a podcast?
So
Or
we'll make sure we drop it in the notes as well. If you go to influencer.tv, influencer is spelled with 2 R's, but it's influencer.tv. the company that I serve as the podcast coach for. And basically, if you have any questions regarding a podcast, influencer.tv can help you. Whether it's you want to do something on your own, just yourself, you want to do a show with your brother who lives in Albuquerque, or you want to do an in-person interview show like this one, or whatever your question is regarding setting up a whole new Facebook page. You have your regular Facebook, but you don't know how to set up a page, and you don't know how to link it to Instagram, and you want to know where else you should be posting it because you don't know. You know, you don't know about Spotify, Apple Podcasts, whatever. You may not.
Podbean.
You may
That's
not
what
know.
I use.
Okay, you may not know even that exists, right? So,
Podbean, just you put it on there and it throws it on everything.
Yeah. So I use Spotify for creators. It used to be called Anchor, then it was Spotify for podcasters, and now it's called Spotify for creators. But it kind of does the same thing. You throw the link in there, and voila, it automatically then goes to wherever. And I have it mostly. Apple is the major player. Apple and Spotify, to me, are like the major players.
Do you have an Apple?
YouTube. Yeah. So on Apple Podcast, if you look up,
You have an iPhone?
oh no,
okay.
I'm Samsung.
Yeah, me too. I'm
Droid.
Android.
Droid. Yeah. I have a Droid. I just never. I tried with friends with their iPhones and like would try and navigate, and it's like, wait a minute, you can't customize this, can you? Can you do this? And they're like, well, no, it's not set up that way. It's just always like this. I'm like, well, no, I want to customize and have my apps like this and do that and do that. And here's the thing with Apple users that I always ask them. Okay, now this is going to make some people mad.
And they hate when they see our color on their text green or something.
Yeah, who cares? Like, that's the reason? Get over it.
What?
Here's how I'm going to make people mad. All
They
right.
say you're lucky I even responded or whatever.
Yeah, okay. So, here's what I love. iPhone users. Okay, I'm talking to you, iPhone users. Do you remember the first time that you could watch YouTube, get out of YouTube, and use a different app at the same time? Remember when you could do that? Just know that whatever time you could do that, that I was doing it 3 years before then. Okay, just know, whatever that date was. Also, do you remember being able to use your phone and a different app at the same time? Just know I was doing that maybe 5 years before you were. Remember all these cool things that you were doing on your iPhone? You're like, look what I could do. Just know that with Droid, I was doing it way before you were doing it. Just know that. So
I didn't know that.
when people tell you that Apple is better, what they are better at doing is advertising.
And spending more money.
Here's my impression of a Samsung Droid commercial. Samsung Droid has 9 billion and 17 GBQs and 1,100 SRTs and 9 jillion BBQs. Buy it. Okay, and people are like, well, I don't know what that is. Okay, here's Apple's commercial. Do you want to change the world? Well, shoot a movie with the new iPhone. It doesn't tell you how many gigabytes,
see the
BQs,
moon?
how many numbers, how many. It doesn't tell you, but if it did, it would be less than what the Droid's numbers are. It would be, but they don't tell you that, but they hype it up better. Because what would you rather hear? Do you want to change the world? Or would you rather hear 991 billion gigawatts? Well, I don't know what that means. So I'll just change the world. Ooh, that
Right.
sounds cool. So that's why people think Apple is
But
better.
I've always used this, and I've maybe tried getting on like a Apple, like iPhone, like once, and I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Nope.
And it's not that it's trash, but I hate when Apple people act like their machine is better when I can prove with facts that it's not. Look at the back of your phone if you have an iPhone, and look how many cameras make sure you zoom in on this. Look how many cameras this is. I think I count 5. Now, iPhone users, go ahead and count how many cameras you have. Okay? It's usually not going to be 5. And this is old.
How many is it?
And this is old. I know most is like 2 or 3 for iPhone users. So, again,
I've got 4.
I've got an old model. I'm just trying to tell you that iPhone, it's not trash, but don't try and make it
Them
sound
can zoom
like...
in further than an iPhone?
100 times zoom.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So
Maybe I
when
need
people
to
are
get
like,
one of
ooh,
those.
iPhone's camera, I'm like, no, Droid is way better. But it's just not they're not
Right.
marketed correctly.
But Android people never hate iPhone people. It's always the iPhone people
Exactly.
making
And
fun of
I
us.
only hate iPhone people because of their hate. Like, oh, you're green, your bubble's blue or green or whatever it is. I'm like, okay, but I can do 9 things on my phone at once and you can't. Or if you are able to, you just now are able to, and I've been doing it for 5 years. What are we talking about? Like, that's not good enough reason. Well, the marketing is good. Okay, that's not a good enough reason to buy something just because it's marketed.
And it's probably 2 times the cost of...
That's the other thing. There was, I don't know if you saw this.
Because it can go to your Apple,
Right.
this and that.
But that can go to Google Drive and
Yeah.
that can... So, did you see this? Payless shoes. The low quality... Well, I don't know if low quality. Low price. The shoe store. They released a company in a day, and it was like Payless is Payless. Payless. They did like Palace and like made it sound like it was like a French thing, and they opened up in the mall, put different lights in the store, made it look like Versace, and put the shoes at $500. And these influencers, social media influencers with millions of followers, came and bought the shoes. And at the end, when they walked out, people came from behind the camera and said, hey, just to let you know, these are Payless shoes. Those shoes go for $45. They're like, nuh-uh, for real? It was a thing. You can Google this. It was a real thing. It just goes to show you
but
if it's priced higher, people just think that it's... Well, that's not the way it always works.
Right, but if you try on, some shoes from TikTok shop compared to like my OnClouds, obviously you know you should know.
You should.
Yeah.
But seriously, these people walked into a store, Palace. It was really Payless. And the same shoe that goes for $45, they bought for like $500. And they're like, oh, these are so
maybe
great.
We need to try that.
We should. The commission on that would be insane.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to do another one of these sometime soon.
Yeah, we talked about like 93 things, I felt like.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You just never know with me what it's gonna be like, you know.
This is a good commercial to come be on the show because look, you never know what you're gonna talk about.
Sometimes I got some topics, and then sometimes
Just let it go.
work fried my brain, and I'm just like,
That's fair.
all over.
My brain's always... This is a perfect example of my brain completely fried. This entire episode was my brain fried, so that's what you get. Congratulations.
Maybe I'd be a good one on racing
Sure.
retard.
Racing idiot. Same, whatever. It's all the same at this point.
Ours.
Who cares? That's awesome.
Anyways.
That's for the blooper reel.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem.
This was cool.
We'll definitely we'll do something here soon.
Yeah, we got some other
And
projects
thanks
that we
for
should
all the kind words and all that.
Of course,
I've been getting some of it filtering back, but it's always good to hear the good feedback of this.
Yeah, I love what you're doing. Keep it going.
So, we'll put all his links in the bottom, and definitely go watch some of his stuff. I know anything sports. I mean, you guys.
Yeah, we cover it all.
And it's fun to actually watch, or listen.
Yeah, we're in the middle of the NFL playoffs, so that's like a big thing right now. So, yeah.
March
Sports
will
Idiot
be
Nation.
coming soon.
Man, that'll be fun because there's so much college basketball on in March. That's a good point. Yep.
So, thanks everybody for watching. Go like and subscribe, and keep running these videos up so I can keep making more for you guys.
Yep.
Thanks.